Welcome to the Feedback Loop podcast, the show that dives deep into how AI is redefining success in the workplace. Today, we are talking about a critical subject, how AI is turning B2B workforce, especially sales and support teams, from manual operators into strategic architects. Our guest today is at the forefront of this transformation. He is Marco Rosmarini, the CEO of Crono, that is Crono.1, O-N-E, the AI go-to market platform for B2B sales teams. Crono helps companies find leads, close deals, and grow faster by injecting AI into every step of the sales process. Marco, welcome to the show.
Joe, thanks for having me.
We're starting this podcast out really as a way to be an informative, educational resource for people that are looking to add AI to the workforce. There's a lot of questions out there. There's also a lot of misunderstanding about what AI can actually do. And we'll get into that. And I want to hear how you're using AI. And before we dive into those macro trends, can you briefly tell us what is the single biggest operational bottleneck, the daily task really that Crono's AI platform solves for sales professionals?
We are 4 co-founders and 3 of us, we come from years of B2B sales. We switch in our careers all from working in big corporates that were using like the most cool enterprise tools to then going and working into go-to-market teams of scale-ups that had to grow fast. And what we noticed is that in the last 10 to 15 years, B2B sales has become tremendously more competitive and tremendously more difficult to do, especially for those companies, the SMB space. They need to grow fast, but they're lacking the resources, the skills to either to implement like an enterprise tool that maybe takes 6 months and you don't have that time to just focus on, but even the engineers that you need to do that. Or if you're using like very, very easy SMB tools, then you're lacking the complexity that the modern world requires when you are building and scaling a structured sales teams. So when we joined like go-to-market teams of scale-ups, we had this pain. Like either we would use enterprise tool and it would be so complex to use them and be so complex to be supported internally, but how to use them, how to create a good process, how to implement them in the right way, or we would use like very, very lean and easy tools, but they would not support us at all. So this is why we started Crono with the idea of building an enterprise level features tool for the SMB world that could adapt to very to countless flexible sales processes that could support the whole sales funnel from finding the right leads to enriching with verified data to engaging in the right way with automation, with AI, etc. We also wanted to address the fact that these companies, they're highly motivated. They want to go fast. They have amazing people working inside, but sometimes they are beginning to grow and they don't have the skills or the knowledge, or they don't have the processes still yet in the company to grow fast. So this is why we also created like an AI chat or an AI layer that kind of works between the user, so the SDR, the account executive, and the machine, so the platform itself. So Crono is a go-to-market platform, and we call it that because it works together with the users to create the perfect go-to-market strategy. So it's not just about a platform that allows you to find leads or a rich contact with verified data from multiple sources, or creating an engagement sequence with automated tasks, but it's also about having kind of an assistant together with you every day that you just say, okay, I need to create a sequence. What do you recommend? Or can you just hold on? What are the leads that I'm not contacting that should be contacted right now? And you have this continuous interaction with an AI that kind of understand already and knows what are the maximum power that the platform can provide to you, and what are all the features it supports. So it kind of like interacts with the users to make sure that the user can work at its maximum speed and maximum power and get better results.
Yeah, that's a great point that you made about it works with you, because I think a lot of people who are exploring AI, you see the headlines that AI is going to take away so many jobs in the workforce. And people are really scared about this, and rightly so, because we haven't seen a technology like AI come around ever, it seems like. And so it could be a really valid concern when you talk about, this, you use it as an assistant. How will you define this new high value role of the B2B sales professional, the human, in the age of generative AI? And what are those essential human skills that you feel AI may never replace?
Yeah, that's a very, very valuable question. So the way that we lay this down is just that we're saying that the users are going from being operators to being orchestrators, right? So, and what we mean with that is that we don't see a future where there's going to be a need for users to spend that amount of time as they used to do all the manual and repetitive tasks that could be about like drafting emails, searching for information, summarizing those information into like, I don't know, like value proposition or bullet points, understanding what are the right filters to use to search for leads. So these are all things that when I started out as an SDR some years ago, the job was completely different. I would spend hours defining very well what was the message that I wanted to write down, understanding really well what was the contact that I needed to engage with and why and what to say, and personalizing those emails. Now, this is something that there are two parts of it, right? On one side, I had the knowledge of my critical thinking or understanding what were the right information that I need to look for, what were the right type of companies that I wanted to engage with, or the right people that I wanted to engage with. This cannot change. So this is up to every person to have that critical thinking of saying, this makes sense and this doesn't, or this is the information that I want to use, and because of this reason, because this is my strategy. But searching for those information, analyzing those information, those are all things that AI is capable to do, even probably better than I can, because it has more time. It doesn't get annoyed by those things. It will focus more. This is how we see the future of sales, right? We don't think that the AI can replace a salesperson, because AI works out of the context that you provide. So if you provide a wrong context or wrong data, the AI will make a mistake. And you cannot ask AI to really have that critical thinking and say, this doesn't make any sense, right?
Yeah.
Because for the AI, it will make sense if you give them the wrong context. But this is what we want, that to have the person involved in saying, okay, so this is my role, this is the company that I want to target, this is the product that I'm selling, and this is the strategy that I want to use. But I can ask the AI, can you help me? So based on this, can you help me draft the right message, or can you help me understand if this is the right ICP based on what my company is doing or what I'm selling, or this value proposition that I see that is working in the market. So I can work, of course, with AI, because it's like having like a super intelligent person next to me that keeps helping me. But I cannot just completely take myself out of the equation and say, okay, so you work for me, and then what do? I don't do anything. Because eventually sales especially is about human relationships. So I'm sure that when you receive an email, you want to know that there is someone behind that email that you can engage with if you have any questions, if you are interested in that product. So this is what we're doing. We're just changing the humans from operators to orchestrators.
I really like that term, changing into orchestrators. And like you said, you want to know that there's a human behind that email that you get, which is something that also, we, at Gleap, we really value this idea of empowering teams, providing ways that they can, 10x, sometimes 100x their productivity. We're using many AI tools simultaneously, right, to pull all this information together. And sales and customer success are traditionally, those are siloed departments. And your AI streams the go-to-market. Gleap's AI is for, post-sale support. In your view, how should B2B companies unify their AI strategy across the entire customer lifecycle, from the first lead to long-term satisfaction, and achieve truly large growth?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. I think we're still very at the dawn of all of this. Companies are still testing what AI can do and how it will create value. I think that what we're doing with Crono will kind of become like cloud computing was 15 years ago. So having an AI layer inside platforms for B2B, so B2B SaaS solutions, so that you can ask the solution directly to do something or how to do something or what's the best way to do something. This is really what will become a commodity. So every solution will probably have an AI internally to just help you out in your daily work. But it's very interesting what you ask about how you can kind of create a strategy around different solutions and around the life cycle of customers in a company. And I don't have still an answer for that, but I think probably it would be amazing in the future that all these AI models or all these AI solutions will be able to talk to each other, so that you kind of create like a source of truth or a single like knowledgeable AI that understand how you are using AI to interact with customers, how you're using AI to support them, how you're using AI to manage anything in the life cycle of a customer's, even renewal probably.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some interesting ideas there on the future of that unification, and there's probably some startup ideas there, so somebody can start working on that.
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody can vibe code that maybe. I don't know. As an AI company, you need to maybe use world-class internal tools. As we are also trying to figure out how to unify kind of the additional value across different departments. What is the specific problem or friction point that you've seen that you turn to Gleap, and are there any quantifiable change you've noticed after implementation?
So on one side, we wanted to have this human experience where our users could talk to someone if they had an issue, because we think that trying to automate everything can really streamline efficiency, but creates like a very, very bad experience when you cannot get to an answer, you cannot get to solving an issue because you're blocked by AI, right? So I'm sure that it happened to all of us. That now you go to a big company's website, you try to talk to support, and you keep facing an AI, but your issue is so specific that AI cannot solve it, and then you're stuck there. You don't know what to do. So we didn't want to create this, but at the same time, we were growing in terms of users, and we thought it was not scalable to keep hiring people to support them, right? To answer to questions. So we wanted to find kind of like a right mix, but AI is as good as the context that you can provide. So we had a knowledge base, we had our internal data, but we're also a startup. We keep developing new things, we keep changing the platform, we keep adding new features. So it was very difficult to keep it also updated and making sure that an AI would answer the right way or would understand how to support customers. So the reason we turned to Gleap is because of your approach to AI. So the thing that we like most about Gleap compared to other platforms that we tested in the past is how you don't just use what we already have as static data to use as a starting point for the AI to answer to customers and support them, but how you keep analyzing also active conversation that happens between our agents and users to create new data, to keep all the information updated, so that the AI actually keeps learning, keeps improving, right? So one question that today the AI is not able to answer is escalated to an agent, but tomorrow the AI is able to answer that question because Gleap analyzes the conversation, is able with the AI to make sure that that information is used as context for future interaction. So this is what we see as valuable, because we want to have humans also with Gleap. We want to have humans in the loop, because if something escalates, they are able to understand how to create their relationship with the users and say, okay, don't worry, I'm going to take care of this. And this is what eventually user wants, to say, I have a problem, can you help me out? And you say, yeah, of course we can. But at the same time, we have an AI behind the hood that keeps learning, so that those situations becomes less and less and less over time, so that we are able to keep supporting our users, but also improving over time doing so.
No, thank you for that feedback. It's really fascinating to see how different teams use the tools differently for their specific use cases, and how that flows into their own specific workflow. So it's really fascinating to see how you're using the tool itself. So I really appreciate that. Have you had a chance to maybe sit down and actually think about looking ahead 18 to 24 months? Because it seems like there's massive changes every single week. Do you have maybe a bold or counterintuitive prediction for how AI will redefine work for the average knowledge worker, not just in sales, but maybe across your entire organization?
I think there's a lot of hype on trying to use AI to replace people or to handle things 100% automatically. And those, I think, that will be the project that will fail. Just because I don't think that that's not even the purpose that AI was created for, right? So, but also because I think that, first of all, I think that a lot of roles, people are able now to use AI because they have that knowledge, but then knowledge was created by being young and inexperienced and making errors. And so now the best account executive were probably the best SDRs, right? Because they had to do that research, they had to learn how to do discovery calls, they had to learn the hard way how to ask the difficult questions, etc. So having an AI that replaces completely SDRs, because SDRs is a boring and annoying job to do, is probably not the best way moving forward, because eventually you will not be able to create the right account executive. You will probably create account executives that are very good at using AI, but not to ask the right question or ask the difficult ones or do the right research, etc. So replacing completely humans, I think that those are the projects that will fail. We're still a human society, so we're not able, so we're not prepared to completely take people out of the equation. But I'm a very, very strong supporter of using AI to maximize everything that can be maximized in terms of efficiency. I use AI to correct my grammar. I use AI to draft my emails. I use AI to sell. I use the AI so I use it for many things, right? So the other day I was doing like a video, right? And if you think about it, like just like doing like a simple video where 5 years ago you had to, if you wanted to add the transcript, you had to write it down one by one, checking out when you would say something, and the right second you would just, like just editing a video would take you like hours just for something as basic as adding transcripts. And now it takes you like a couple of seconds because AI can do that. And there are so many examples of how AI can maximize efficiency. So we're still far behind of understanding how the future generation will use AI in different parts of their life to really make a lot of things easier and faster. But I think that this will be the biggest impact. So I think that AI will really revolutionize how people work. But as long as people understand that the AI is not there to replace what they do, they need to have that knowledge. They need to understand if the AI is working the right or wrong way. So you need to have that critical thinking. And if you use it that way, then it really skyrockets your potential, I think.
Right. Yeah, using AI to free you up to doing other things, maybe more important things, more strategic things, because I'm sure as much as you've described how much you use AI on a daily basis, you're probably still as busy as ever or more, I assume. What have you found maybe to be most effective cultural strategy or training initiatives that maybe you ensure your team really adopts the new AI tools rather than feeling intimidated or resistant to change? What would your advice be to companies?
Yes, I think on that topic, I think we're very lucky because we're used to working with, so being a startup and a fast growing one, we're used to work with young people, very, very like technology oriented, so very curious. So compared to like probably more traditional companies, we see already that people come on board with this curiosity of testing new things or trying to just like disrupt their way of working, or maybe they're young, so they are open to just working in a new way that was not the way that we were used to it. So in that case, we already have like the right culture to do so. What we try to maximize internally or to propose is to test out things as much as we can internally. So we see how, besides what Crono does, we see how Crono needs also to interact with other departments, right? And now more often than so, we see a lot of companies working together with go-to-market engineers or sales operations team, and then the SDR team, and then marketing and different tools to do so, etc. So we see that there are different workflows that we can create, and a lot of companies they're now using like workflow automation tools to make sure that different tools can work together. And it is something that we think it's a very, very interesting trend, because we don't just sell the value of for one team of working with Crono, we sell the value of a whole company creating a strategy around Crono or around other tools working together. So this is something that we want to leverage as well. So what we're doing internally is that we cannot, this is not something that we can propose or sell or talk to companies if we haven't done this ourselves or we don't know how to do it. So what we do is internally we run these projects and say, okay, so let's use these tools. Let's try to work together with Crono with different projects. Let's try to reshape completely the process of how we work internally to see if we can create more value or more efficiency. So this is kind of the culture that we tend to create. So there's no perfect way to do things. We keep reinventing. We don't reinvent the wheel, but we keep reinventing ourselves to make sure that we can work in a better way or make things more efficiently, because we see that everything is so new that there's still so much to learn or so much to improve.
Yeah, that's great advice. It's inspiring to see, projects like yours and the growth and success you're having, continue so strong. So, Marco, I want to thank you for sharing such a clear vision on the future of work. It's clear what you're building, Crono, managing your internal customer experience. AI is no longer a luxury. It's, the engine for high velocity growth. So before we leave, maybe just tell the listeners where they can experience Crono and sign up and find you guys.
Yes, thank you so much, Joe. It's been a pleasure being here. So if anyone is interested, they can connect with me on LinkedIn, or they can just visit our website, www.crono.1. As you said, we have a specific session to require a demo or check out the product or scheduling sometimes with us. So that's the best way. But as I said, I'm also happy to connect with whoever is interested.
Excellent. Very open like that. Thanks, Marco. Appreciate your time, and good luck with everything moving forward.
Thank you, Joe. Likewise, and have a great day.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you again next time on the Feedback Loop podcast.